Hello, listeners. This is Jesse.
This is Greg.
And you're listening to Spoilers Are Good, Actually, the podcast where we revisit some of our old favorite shows and talk about how knowing the ending affects our experience the second time through.
Today we're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 1, Episode 14, The Fortune Teller. The way this podcast works is that we have both a spoiler section and a spoiler-free section. The spoiler-free section is first, so we'll talk about the episode and everything that came before it. After that, we'll have a quick break and then move on to the spoiler section. The spoiler section assumes that you've watched all of Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra, and you've gone to the other source material, including the comics. If you have a problem with spoilers, don't listen to that section, but we do recommend that you do listen to that section. Do whatever you gotta do. Watch it, listen to it, consume it, ignore it, whatever you need. Just be there.
And one quick content note. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a kids show, but this is not a kids podcast. While we won't be going into any darker or more mature themes than the show itself does, we will be using adult language, so listener be warned.
It's nice to have a nice, light episode after the two heavy ones we just had.
Yeah, it's a little infuriating, but generally I find this episode fun.
What's so infuriating about this episode? I don't understand.
Okay, you do understand. I'm not even gonna, play this game with you right now.
We've got an entire episode on this, Jesse. I don't know what's your problem. What's wrong with the fortune teller, Jesse?
Well, for starters, Katang.
No, I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, whatever. 10-word summary. Before we get into it too far, let's go ahead and give those.
Aang's crush on Katara takes center stage while Sokka suffers.
Yeah. So for my 10-word summary, I wrote, Aang fights a volcano, rejects a girl, nobody learns anything.
Yeah, no. I mean, lessons were there to be learned. I guess the lesson that episode really wanted to push was take control of your own fate, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And of course they did that a lot in the context of romance and love, and it's don't wait on things to happen. Go for it. I think that's what they were trying to push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They introduced this Meng character.
I love Meng. She's so cute.
She's fun. I like her. But they introduced that whole subplot, and it was a perfect opportunity to show Aang how fucking weird and annoying he's being and have him learn and grow and treat Katara like a whole person. And then it just it
kind of fizzled out.
Nothing happens.
No, I mean Meng realized
he didn't learn anything.
Meng realized that Aang didn't care about her. Aang didn't figure anything out. If anything, Katara realized that Aang qualifies for the definitions and the fortune.
If you could hear me rolling my eyes, it would be very loud. Jesus Christ.
This episode had some fun stuff too. The fish at the very beginning that clearly was taunting Sokka.
Oh yeah. Fish was a dick. Frankly, I think it would be bad if they caught it because it had a human face. That might have been a spirit or something.
Just the universe shitting on Sokka generally was very fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of that. Sokka is very funny, and it is fun to watch him be frustrated. Even though I, too, am frustrated for a lot of this episode with this fucking, can your science explain why it rains? Yes. Yes, it can.
They ignore him and walk away.
But it's funny to watch Sokka suffer, so that makes up for it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Sokka was not wrong, but he was also obnoxious in the way he did it.
Oh, yeah. No, he just, did not even try to, meet these people where they were at or, have a discussion and try and change their minds. He was just what is wrong with you? You're all stupid. So, of course they weren't going to listen to him. I mean, that's fine. He's not a diplomat yet.
He'll get there.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to talk about Aunt Wu. Aunt Wu is also I enjoyed the characters they introduced this episode.
Be careful.
I really like Meng. I really like Aunt Wu. I liked just Aunt Wu was cool. I liked her. I liked her entire vibe. This like elderly lady who's messing around and just like doing this fortune telling shit. By the way, she was surprisingly accurate, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know why we're surprised, though. Like, magic fucking exists.
Okay, but like, for some reason, at least to Sokka, fortune telling is a class of magic that warrants skepticism. They're like, fortune telling doesn't exist. That's a fake thing. That's not a real thing. Unlike bending, which is a real thing and does exist and we know about, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I also think if you look at it from Sokka's perspective, you know, he grew up completely like isolated in the South Pole, and the only person who could do any type of bending his whole life
was his sister. Yeah.
And she barely did that until the start of this show.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, to him, he was, like, kind of, I think, begrudgingly accepting that bending is real.
That's true.
And he was calling it, like,
skeptical.
magic water.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. And that is his only experience with any type of, like, I don't know, I almost called it supernatural force, but that's not quite right.
Effectively, though, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I can see how he lives under the assumption that magic is not real. Bending is an exception.
Yeah. Or like...
But I think the more and more we learn about this universe, the more that's not necessarily true.
Yeah. It seems like Aunt Wu has a very... first of all, it seems to me like Aunt Wu does have the ability to tell fortunes.
Mm-hmm.
She like, you know, the biggest one was when when Aang threw his bone in the fire.
Yeah, at the very least, the bone thing has some kind of weight.
Right. But it seems like her fortune telling is like, it tells you the end, but not how you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's like, the village will not be destroyed by the volcano, and it's like, that's accurate. And we just kind of assume that also means the volcano won't blow. And she, like, the first dude said something that was straight up inaccurate, but I think that, anyway, the first dude said, Aunt Wu said I'd have a safe journey, and he got attacked by a platypus bear. I'm on Team Sokka on that one. You didn't have a safe journey, homie. You almost died. But if Aunt Wu said, you will make it home safe and sound, right? And he just interpreted that to mean I'll have a safe journey.
Yeah.
Right? It seems like Aunt Wu's predictions basically just say, here's the end point. Here's what's going to be the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Yeah, she seems to have a mixture.
Go ahead.
She seems to have a mixture of, like, real, I guess, psychic, spiritual abilities and just, you know, your standard real life fortune tellers who do things in very vague terms. They're good at, like, reading people and kind of, like, picking up on stuff to make it seem like, I don't know, like, they try to trick you into thinking that, like, they know things that there's no way they could know. Yeah. You know? So she's got some of those tactics in that she says things that are intentionally extremely vague and often will be self-fulfilling, like the fucking red shoes. And that works to her benefit. But she clearly there is some kind of, like, spiritual insight that she has. Yeah.
Like, she's actually accurate. Like, to a degree that you can't just ignore. But, like, it also feels like she kind of sneaks in a little bit of mumbo jumbo just to keep you on your toes. And I really like her. I like her entire aesthetic. She's very lighthearted about almost everything. Even when she's clearly exasperated with people. She's got so much patience.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you see how she treats Katara.
Katara was all over the fortune telling all episode long, and it was very funny to see the mango papaya scene.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite lines in, like, the entire show.
Oh man.
Which I just it's hilarious because it's like, Katara, you prompted this. Why did you put papaya in the list of options for breakfast if you hate papaya so much?
And then I didn't even notice the first few times I watched the show, but the very next thing we see her doing is buying a papaya.
Yeah.
And her face is very upset.
Yeah, she clearly hates papayas.
She's very not mad, she's just very distraught that she has to buy this papaya and eat it for breakfast tomorrow.
Like, why couldn't you have said, like, mango or apple, mango or banana, mango or melon? Why did you put papaya in there?
Just, I don't know. I couldn't answer for Katara. Oh, man. But yeah.
It's so funny. But no, like, the way that she treats Katara, I think, gives us an insight into how she got to this place with the entire village, where, like, she starts out doing some semi-serious, like, psychic shit and telling some big but vague things about the future. And then people just get into it and they want to ask her about every little thing. And then she starts doing the, like, fucking, like, scam, fake, medium shit.
You break out the bones whenever somebody gets really skeptical. And then they're like, oh, okay, no, this is the real deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and just... That's when she starts saying things that are, like, so vague and meaningless that it's, this isn't going to damage my credibility, but I'm also not going to, like, I don't know, fuck up this guy's life by telling him that, like, red shoes will bring him love, right?
What did she tell that dude that made him not want to take a bath, though? Curious about that one. Maybe he just... I'm inclined to believe that he just misconstrued something she said to think, oh, that means I can't bathe.
Oh, almost certainly.
Right? She said something completely reasonable, and he's like, no, so I can't be bathing at all. I got it. Like, you'll meet your true love, I don't know, when you're dirty. I don't fucking know.
I mean, I like to think it's something like, next time that you try to take a bath, the water's gonna be too hot, and you're gonna burn yourself, and it's gonna suck. And he was like, okay, well, I'm never taking a damn bath again.
That. I mean...
Or, like, you are going to cut yourself the next time you shave. Guess I can't shave! I just pictured that with the meme of the old guy, guess I'll die! Yeah. I mean, I want to go back to...
Katang?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge plot of the episode.
Basically,
in fact, the entire previously on was just going through all the moments where we see Aang having a crush on her.
Yep.
Blah. One thing that I found amusing was at the beginning when he, like, made her that necklace. I mean, she 100% has, like, mom energy of, like, taking your child's ugly ass drawing, but, like, you love your child and you want to support them and you want to make them feel good, so you tell them it's the best thing you've ever seen.
It was honestly a nice necklace.
Oh yeah. The necklace was fine.
Yeah.
But like,
no, the way she reacted
that
to
was the energy that she had taking this necklace. Like, it's so nice.
Her reaction to it was very much put it on the fridge.
It.
Put it on the fridge.
Right? Which is accurate to their relationship.
And Sokka is just mocking Aang. And, like, if I wrote a note at the beginning, I was like, Sokka actually picks up on the fact that Aang's got a crush on Katara. But then, like, later in the episode, when Sokka was not giving useful advice at all, he thought that Aang had a thing for Maang. So, I'm just like, maybe Sokka doesn't know how Aang feels about Katara.
Sokka's an idiot. He doesn't know anything about romance.
What? You're telling me that Sokka, the only person his age besides his sister in his entire village, doesn't know how to interact with women in a romantic sense? You're telling me that he just doesn't have that kind of experience or knowledge, and he's talking out of his ass when he tries to give this 12-year-old advice?
Yeah.
Like,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
But isn't ignoring people just, like, the way to get them to love you?
I want to ignore that trope because I don't find it amusing. But I also, like, don't care enough to sit here and rant about the trope of, like, you gotta be aloof to make women like you. Like, listen, Sokka's one experience with romance is fucking meeting Suki, getting his ass kicked, and then getting a smooch on the cheek, and he just, like, puddle. He melts.
I mean, correct.
Which is, yes. The objectively correct reaction to getting your ass kicked by a Kyoshi warrior.
It is an honor.
It really is. But he has no experience in romance. He's in no place to be giving advice.
Yeah.
But he does anyway, which, duh.
Duh.
We've met Sokka.
I was mainly looking at whether Sokka knew that Aang had a thing for Katara.
Right.
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was like trying to see. And at first I was like, yeah, he knows. And I was like, no, he doesn't. He's just bullshitting. He's just finding a way to make fun of Aang because a guy made a thing for a lady. Therefore, he must have feelings for her because that's how it works in his head. Yeah. That's how it works in many teenagers' heads.
Yeah.
So.
Not really their fault, but misguided.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It is so frustrating the way they set up this entire parallel arc, the entire episode, and you think Aang's gonna experience being on the other side of this one-sided affection, and he's gonna see how that makes him feel uncomfortable, and maybe adjust the way that he approaches his crush on Katara. But no, that doesn't happen at all. And in fact,
Katara sees the Aang's a powerful
Bright
bender.
was let's just make Katara have a moment where she's oh, maybe I could see him that way.
He's a powerful bender.
Means nothing.
He's a powerful bender. And Aunt Wu said powerful bender. Now it matters.
No, it doesn't. There are many powerful benders.
Yeah, but Aang.
Tired.
All right.
But you know who else is a powerful bender?
Go before I say Boomy.
Why do you want to hurt me? Zuko!
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, he beat Zhao. Yes.
I don't think it is a spoiler to say that he, like everyone else, grows in how good his bending is throughout the 3 seasons of the series.
That's true.
That's just common fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
That the characters get better as we go along.
Yeah.
So. Mm-hmm. It could also be anyone. It could be Haru. It could be a Northern Water Tribe boy. It could, I don't know, literally anyone. Anyone but Jet. Powerful bender is extremely vague, and the fucking look on Aang's face when he is eavesdropping on this private fortune-telling conversation, which is extremely inappropriate, but we're just playing off as hilarious. And then he gets the, grossest, smuggest look on his face.
Someone had to get
and it just makes me just want to smack him. You ever want to just punch baby? I showed you this tweet 2 days ago.
Oh, you're pretending this came from a tweet and didn't come from your own mouth and mine just now. You're going to punch babies now? Who did I marry?
It's because the picture of the baby is bald. It's Aang.
I mean, I know.
Whatever. Anyway, it's upsetting. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
He does not fucking view her as a person.
Not really, no. It's, putting her up on a pedestal. Anyway. I don't have much else for the non-spoiler
Yeah,
section.
no, I think we can move on. Well, let's go ahead and move into the golden fuck.
Okay. Do you have golden fuck nominations?
I do. I have 2. Do you?
I also have 2.
Okay, let's go back and forth. You want to start?
Sure. Can your science explain why it rains is the maddest I've seen Sokka throughout the entire episode. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the place where you're dropping an F-bomb on somebody.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yes, it fucking can.
Yeah. This is also in the middle of the volcano was erupting at this point or about to, and they were literally trying to save these people's lives. And this guy had just the smuggest look as he said the stupidest shit. And I also wanted to hurt him. So put an F-bomb in there. Give Sokka a fuck for that one. What's your first one?
Yeah, my first one also goes to Sokka. Earlier in the episode, I like when he is fighting with that fish and it like flings out and hits him right in the face and he falls backwards. I think he could say fuck there. I mean, it's a little weaker, but like still a good choice. That's it. Very straightforward. What's your next one?
My second one, I don't like it as much, but I think it's got some potential. So at the end of the episode, they're like saying goodbye to everybody in the entire village. And we see like Mang waving, saying bye. And then she stops smiling. And then she says floozy. And I'm like, that's the word bitch right there, right in there. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't love that.
Yeah.
Mostly just because I don't love that
right.
that part of the episode.
Right.
Like, I don't think we need that, like, weird internalized misogyny.
That's fair.
The funniness versus, like, weird, gross, anti-women sentiment does not add up.
Okay. I mean, that's very fair.
But, like, I mean, you're right that it would be an expletive. My last one also goes to Sokka. I mean, you know, he was a fucking angry boy this episode,
Sokka
of course.
was gonna get the golden fuck this episode. It's his.
Yeah. Anyway, also, as they're kind of leaving, the original guy from the beginning of the episode with the platypus bear says some other bullshit about, like, well, Aunt Wu. Aunt Wu was not wrong. And Sokka just goes, I fucking hate you.
He does say, I hate you.
He does. And they have to, like, drag him away.
Yeah.
So, improved with a fuck.
I mean, it's between that one and Can Your Science Explain
Yes,
Why
it fucking can. I mean, Can Your Science Explain Why It Rains is just such an iconic moment. Not just for this episode.
Just period.
Not just for this season. Like, in the whole show.
It is one of the most
It is
well-known.
top tier, so memorable. So I think we gotta put it there.
I agree.
All right, once again, to Sokka.
Sokka's just racking them up. Cool.
And on that note, we're ready to move into the spoiler section. So Aang fights a volcano. You know who else fights a volcano and loses?
Oh, Aang didn't lose.
Roku lost, though, somehow.
I mean, it's because Roku's volcano was not just a volcano. I mean, like, yeah, it was, but this was threatening an entire, like, Aang's volcano threatened a village, and it was, like, relatively small. Roku's volcano was, like, a super volcano, and it literally threatened the entire island.
No, it's true. This volcano was just doing some, like, lava flowing down. More of a mild eruption. Yeah. And Roku's volcano just, like, fucking explodes.
I also have single theory on this particular volcano, and that is that the Order of the White Lotus helped with this one. Or at the very least, Zhang, a member of the Order of the White Lotus, helped.
That's right.
Yeah. Because Zhang, or at least a dude that looks very, very similar to Zhang, appears in this episode. If you go back and watch it, it's the part where Aunt Wu comes up to do the cloud reading. There's a dude standing next to her who is about the correct height for Zhang and has the exact same hair, the all white, the I haven't combed it or brushed it, done anything to it in about 20 years look. Like,
and he's got this weird, like, all black outfit.
Yeah.
and we never see this character doing anything. We don't see their face,
Yeah.
but he like follows Aunt Wu around.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I didn't notice it until you pointed it out, but it's quite strange.
Yeah. So my theory is that Zhang was there. My guess is he's probably like helping out with the Order of the White Lotus. They're like, you know, Avatar's around here somewhere. We've got reports, yada, yada, yada. Check out this village. And Zhang's like chilling with Aunt Wu, and he's keeping tabs on the Avatar.
So does that mean Aunt Wu is White Lotus?
I mean,
it's the old people club.
I mean, we did establish that. We've already said this. Order of the White Lotus is the old people's club. All old people know each other. That's just how it is. So yeah. And it's hella handy to have a fortune teller in your super secret society. So, but yeah, like, so I think Zhang kind of helped out a little bit with that volcano, kind of in the background. Didn't notice them before. I'll probably go back and watch and see if they like have anything, but like my suspicion is that they didn't draw him again.
So I got to thinking just now. I feel like Aunt Wu almost certainly knew Aang was the Avatar. It's not a fucking secret.
No,
and
you're
like
right.
the thing that kept me saying, like, yeah, she has real psychic powers is how much those bones exploded. But if Zhang was there, he could have firebent it. It could have all been fake.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Because it's not hard to, you know, be like, oh, the Avatar.
That's hilarious.
A great battle. Like, that would be an easy thing to pretend to predict. And, like, but, like, you can't really fake these exploding bones. I mean, I guess she could also secretly be a firebender, but that would be weird.
Probably not.
But if Zhang was there, just, like, hiding behind a curtain.
Yeah. No,
just
he could definitely.
Manipulating the flames.
He could definitely do that. Huh?
What a scheme. It's almost certainly not true, but like, what a scheme.
This is fun. I enjoy this.
That would be hilarious.
Oh.
I mean, it also brings up the question of lava bending. I think this scene with the volcano.
Well, what about lava bending?
I don't know. I mean, like, when you're watching it, you know, without spoilers and without watching Korra, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, can anyone
like,
bend lava?
Are earthbenders doing this? Is this just, like, Aang's airbending the only thing that can control this?
Yeah.
It seems pretty out of control, but, like, also, isn't lava just hot earth? So would it be firebenders? Would it be earthbenders?
Right.
Like, how would this work?
Yeah. And, like, so what we know is that from Roku's, like, backstory thing, firebenders can effectively super cool the fire by like taking in whatever the fuck the smoke is, like, and then shooting it out. Because they did that. They basically like took the heat and the smoke, put it into one finger, and then shot it out the other, and it just like made all of the lava like harden and cool. So that's the thing firebenders can do. We know that if you're a lava bender, you can straight up lava bend, but it's supposed to be about as rare or rarer than metal bending.
Yeah.
And there was no indication of it in anywhere of the original series. And I mean, we saw earthbenders just making a trench, which looks like that was the entire plan. And it looks like Aang just used his airbending to cool the fucking lava real quick. Like, he just used a lot of air and made it very, very cool, very fast.
Yeah, this does tie into a conversation that I know you wanted to have about, like, the genetics of bending.
Right. Yeah. Because the reason I wanted to talk about it was because of the twins in this episode had that little fun bit where they were like, hey, guys, we need earthbenders. And one of the twins was like, I'm an earthbender. And the other one's like, I'm not. And twins are supposed to have identical sets of DNA.
At least identical twins.
Or at least identical twins are. That's true.
And those two seemed identical.
Yeah. So like, it implies that bending is not fully genetic, but it also feels like it is at least partially genetic. There are bending families. It seems to track with, you know, who you're related to, at least somewhat. but we all, it was interesting. It's really cool. Hello Future Me has a fun video on bending.
Yeah, I think we've literally already plugged this one when we talked about metal bending for the first time.
Yeah.
But
even still, I think it's always fun to look at and come back to and think about. This is another example of bending being not quite genetic, or there's got to be something else related to it.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's interesting because they do seem to treat some of these like special forms of bending as like gifts and not just like advanced techniques.
Yeah.
But then later on, Toph is like, I can teach anyone to metal bend. It's just a technique.
That does seem
when
like
Katara starts,
Toph would say.
When Katara starts healing things, that's introduced as like some waterbenders have a special ability, and then she gets to the North Pole and like all the female waterbender, all the women waterbenders heal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little inconsistent, but at the same time,
yeah,
I like that it's a bit unclear.
Yeah, there are alternate explanations for it. Oh, sorry. You can finish.
Just that it's still a relatively hard magic system.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all still within this pretty specific realm of controlling elements.
Yeah.
But having a bit of like mystery in there makes it more compelling and gives you more like leeway to like tweak things and maybe pull something out of your hat for storytelling purposes, and have it not like completely be world breaking.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that we could have it where like, Northern Water Tribe, first of all, they're going to kind of figure out whether you can bend early on, and basically guys that can heal just don't go to the healing huts. Ladies that can waterbend but can't heal don't go to the healing huts. And the healing huts only get the ladies that can heal, which is a waste. Honestly, it's a huge fucking waste, but it's an explanation.
I think it's also possible that there are like healing applications of waterbending that don't require the like magic healing ability. Right? Like I feel like using your waterbending, you could probably treat like fevers and stuff, even if you can't like
literally heal,
like stitch together a cut on someone's arm,
right, with
your waterbending. Like you could use it to disinfect, to help with like body temperature, things like that.
That sounds good. Yeah.
But I don't know. They could also just, what was it? Zhang said that, right?
Yeah.
Some water. He could be wrong.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish we got more of Zhang. We only get one episode of him, and then he shows up later. I wish we had more Zhang.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting. On the topic of waterbending, we see Katara do something really fucking cool this episode for the first time, which is like stop the rain using her bending as a little umbrella.
Yeah, it's very quick, very small, but nice. It was really good.
It's just a fun little like tidbit that you almost don't notice, and it's like, I don't know, it's so subtle that it just seems obvious. Like, yeah, she can do that. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But, like, you think about what that really is. And that is already so impressive. And then, with spoilers, we know that she can just stop the entire fucking storm. Like, just a huge fucking bubble, stop the rain, turn it into icicles. God, I love her.
Yeah. Southern Raiders is such a good episode. We'll get there.
But I really liked seeing the first little bit of that in her just doing her little umbrella.
Yeah.
She really has passed the point. I don't know. She's really got, probably 3 big tipping points when it comes to her bending ability. The first is like around the water bending scroll, where she's just struggling to do literally anything on purpose. And then she kind of gets a hang of it and starts to like get more comfortable and work with her instincts, and can water whip on command, can do this little rain thing, bending the clouds without really like, seeming to have a hard time.
Right.
And then at the end of the season, when she gets trained, like, by a master, obviously, that takes her to a whole nother level.
She becomes an actual master.
Yeah. Real fast, because she was already learning so fast and growing so fast.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, I think bloodbending is a turning point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
which that should be used for healing, too. But I will save most of that conversation for later. I just want to say that I think it is thematically appropriate with this show and with her character for her not to just be like, all bloodbending is evil, and to try and use that in a way for good. And I think that you could absolutely heal with bloodbending.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. Another time, I will bring it up again, probably before the episode again. But I just had to get that out there.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk about one of Aunt Wu's prophecies.
Okay.
First of all, is Aunt Wu a complete fraud? Is she kind of a fraud? What do we think?
I mean, I think we established she's not a complete fraud. Just like mostly, because most of what people ask her is nonsense.
Right. So one of the things Aunt Wu said, we saw it at the end of one of her sessions with Katara. She's like, and then you'll have your third great grandchild and die peacefully in your sleep. So the last time we see Katara is, in Legend of Korra, she has grandchildren.
Yeah.
Right?
Neither Bumi nor Kaya have children.
Nah, I don't think so.
Only Tenzin.
Only Tenzin. And they... So, Katara is, what? 80-something?
Yeah.
At that point, Janora's probably around 16. Younger than that. She's around the age of the crew.
Season 1, she's probably 14, I think.
Yeah.
But then there's a couple seasons of time passing and a 3-year time skip.
Yeah.
So by the end of that, she's at least 16, 17.
Yeah. So Janora's 16. I'm trying to think about whether... I think I'm trying to speculate whether Katara's going to pass 100, honestly. That's...
Oh, okay.
If Aunt Wu is correct in this prediction.
I think that part was bullshit.
Yeah, probably. But
just based on her tone
yeah,
and how long she had been telling Katara stuff, it really seems like at that point she was just making stuff up to get her to go away.
Yeah. I'm still having it's still a fun exercise. I feel like she would at that point. Katara would get past 100 years old.
Especially considering...
The oldest is Janora.
Janora is the oldest.
Yeah.
She's in her late teens, has a romantic interest.
Yeah. Oh, right! Man, what was his name again?
Kai.
Kai's so cool. Anyway.
He's an ass.
So cool.
I don't know. I don't love thinking about the Korra version of Katara as much because I just think it is so disrespectful to her.
We'll get back to it sometime.
I'm just trying to think of a way to succinctly get across the frustration that I am having right now about this without opening it up into a huge discussion.
The main thing is that Katara's much more passive in Korra than she is in the rest of her life.
Yeah. The implications in Korra are literally just that end of the season, end of the original series, she and Aang get together, settle down, have babies, and she chills at the South Pole for the rest of her life, raising children. And she, stays with Aang despite we realize that he is, not a very good father to 2 of his 3 children. Which, again, a lot of people don't like that because they see it as, destroying Aang's character, but I think that is a perfectly, reasonable character flaw to have.
Yeah.
But the idea of Katara sitting passively and allowing this to happen, not right.
Yeah,
also
true.
the fact that Aang dies while they're relatively young, and she's just well, that's it. I'm old and alone in the Southern Water Tribe now. I'm not gonna go have a life anymore. I'm just gonna sit here and heal in the snow.
I'm gonna go blow in the Fire Lord. Bye. Y'all don't see the expression Jess is giving. Yes, of course.
Is gone. Azumi's mom is not around.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Whoever she is, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
It just makes sense Like, you couldn't even give me that. They couldn't even be, like, old and finally, like, find companionship with each other after both of their spouses have died and their children are grown up.
All right.
It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I love Korra. I hate how Katara is treated starting from the last 5 minutes of the show and moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll move on. Don't look at me like that.
Apologize.
All right, so that's all we have today for Book 1, Chapter 14, The Fortune Teller. We hope you'll join us next time when we talk about Book 1, Chapter 15, Bato of the Water Tribe. Until then, please check us out on Twitter at SpoilersAreGood. And please, if you're liking this podcast, go ahead and give us a follow and rate us on iTunes. That really helps out, just for like the visibility of the podcast. And then if you have any longer questions or comments, you're always welcome to send us an email to spoilersaregoodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's everything, right? Okay, then. Until next time, remember, just because it's spoiled doesn't mean it's rotten. Bye.
Bye. You know who else is a powerful bender?
Azula.
It's like you said that like I wouldn't ship it.
We have to get rid of that one.
I know.
Fuck, I'm so upset.
It's fine. I'll put it at the end of the podcast.
God.